to strap in and get ready. The leaders in NRL Supercoach are incoming. Bringing you the ultimate insight to help you win your leagues and climb up the rankings. You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Metrics, and Whisperer.
G'day guys, welcome back to the Insight NRL Show, around 11, done and dusted. We're officially into the major buys. Josh is the winner again. I am second again. And unfortunately, no Matrix tonight. He's had a big weekend and earned himself a night off, but he will be wearing the clown wig this week. Josh, new glasses, mate. Same Tigers, sadly. So you win some, you lose some.
Thanks, mate. I think this is the equivalent of like when your girlfriend gets a haircut. So it's nice that you acknowledge them. I've got a couple of pairs this time around. Gonna have a couple on rotation. Found an optometrist in Sydney that will also reuse my old frames at a discount price to put lenses in. So, you know, it's all coming up Millhouse. Yeah, Tigers-wise, not good. I'm going to get a noise complaint for screaming excessively when Lachlan Garvin went over the try line and then all for nothing. But, mate, I'm just really disappointed with defensive liability, Terrell May. You know, 68 tackles, 0 misses. It's a travesty. That's just not acceptable. To
be fair, he should have made 72 tackles. So like he's left 4 out there. Really, very disappointing. But look, you know, we joke, but it's a fucking absolute joke in itself that he's not picked. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. We talk about the Tiger tax a lot on this show, and he has been taxed to the maximum for playing for the Tigers, I think.
Oh, also, if you were picking an 80-minute hooker, I understand taking Robson. That's cool. Like, if you said, we need a hooker to play 80, we're picking Robson. I'm cool with that. But if you're picking a hooker to play 45, 50, I don't think the option's overly close between Appy Coruscant and then Daylight. But, hey, that's just me.
Yeah. Look, we're not selectors. We know the teams will be coming out pretty soon. We've seen there's some leaks floating around on certain creators' pages. So we'll get to what we know at the moment, but obviously we haven't seen official teams yet. So bear with us. We'll try and keep an eye out for any news as the show goes on. But we are here to talk about round 11. And, mate, I think we probably need to spend half the show on this, don't we?
Walking around on road
We're 3 days early on the injury report, but I reckon we're going to need all 3 days to get through it. I was looking at like 14, 15 people to pick from next week. I've got 10 right now. I'm going to have to rip some boosts to get to 13. But yeah, if you haven't put the kids to bed, if you haven't made dinner, I'd recommend prioritizing those because we're going to be here for quite a while to wrap up these injury reports.
It's tough. And I mean, look, we're not going to go into depth, but, you know, we're going to go through what we know so far. And that is to start with Dylan Lucas. Looks like shoulder subluxation, which is like when he pops it out and it goes back in. So basically very similar to what we've seen from Toby Couchman. So, you know, we're hoping that he's named, and I think there's every chance he does get named next week to play, but any re-aggravation of that injury is going to see him sitting on the sideline for anywhere between 1 to 3 weeks, like Couchman is. So, yeah, a bit of a kick in the dick. Let's just hope that we don't lose a number for round 13. And I think, sorry, I missed that comment, but I'm assuming.
No, Sergeant Bear just said it's quicker to list who is not injured.
Yes, absolutely it is. Bradman Best also, mate, missed this one, hammy, again. He had 5 hammies last year and 6th now in a very short space of time. It's not looking good for him.
Yeah, he is the Michael Jordan of Tom Trbojevic, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, absolutely.
Yeah, like luckily enough, I got given this news. What was it? The day before, gave it to the Patreons. Like it didn't end up changing anything massively because the Knights played first. But yeah, I was a very nervous boy at 24-hour mark when he didn't drop out, and I was praying this wasn't another Ethan Strange situation. But yeah, he's out. Lucas was out. Miles was out. Like that whole entire left. Didn't finish, like their first choice left, just didn't finish the game. Already down 66% of it. Lucas there as well. Tom Cant came in. He a bit of the Dylan Egan's about him when he was named to start. Everyone's like, oh, do I buy him? Do I start him? Do I sit him? So curious on what he does moving forward because like the Knights aren't flush with centre depth, but you know Lucas is so good on an edge. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, it's going to be. I suppose there's going to be some shuffling there. And look, if he sits out next week, it's a fucking big kick in the dick. That hurts a fair bit. But yeah, we'll see what TLT brings us. Other injuries: Daniel Saifidi out with a calf. No Supercoach implications, but state of origin ones, so to speak. So Terrell May's replacement goes down. What a shame.
Apparently, mate. I've you know how long-term listeners would have known. I don't lose my head very often. I lost it when you were trying to tell me Zach Lomax was a good option.
That was
Didn't
good.
go well. And like I've just lost my head completely. Like, there's so much in the media about Terrell May, and I feel like people are just trying to make up things as to why not to pick him. And every week he's like, no, and here's why. Just say you don't like the guy. Just be like, hey, we don't like the cut of his jib, and we'll be like, sweet, no worries. But yeah, it's just so funny. Like it's ridiculous. Anyway, we'll talk about him soon. Jake Carraz obviously finished the game. Looked okay. Nothing of concern. Scored 60. We were like, you know what? Like we'll take a 60. We'll have him for next week because Lomax looked unreal, amazing. And then we get like a panic alert from the NRL physio saying, hey, Danny Weidler's just said that Carraz is out for up to at least a month. We're like, what the fuck? Like, where did this happen? And we should have seen the writing on the wall from there, because from then it absolutely spiraled. I guess we'll talk about this one more on Tuesday and more on Wednesday, mate. But Carraz is probably a season keeper, and we're not going to be too affected over this period because we're going to have shallower squads. He was already missing around 13. It's like, can we viably hold him for a month? Like, I'm not sure. Like, we'll have that discussion when we have more information. But yeah, mate, he was just the domino that fell. Same game. Last hit up of the game, Naf White looks like a medial or an MCL. Like he's out up to 3 to 4 weeks as well. So it was the gift that kept on giving this game. Both our Origin boys to cover are out.
Yeah, that sucks. Like, but I think the good thing for White is that it looks like he's going to be out for 3 weeks, which means that'll bring him back just in time for the round 15 major buy. So he's still going to cover 15, 16, 18, and 19 for you at the back end. I'd probably lean towards White being a hold more than a sell. So if there is one of these guys that you want to hold, one of these well-owned guys, I think it's him, considering he's only going to miss 12 and 13 because they were on the buy in 14 anyway. So that could be worse. Tommy Gilbert, mate, looks like he's done a pec in a sling. Looks like, probably pending surgery if they've put him in a sling as per physio. It's not usually a good sign when you're on a sling post-game. So that's his Origin hopes done, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, like, they've got 3 key Origin guys out. Flegler obviously out for the entire year. Gilbert now out. Max Plath also out. JMK out with that leg laceration as well. So the forward pack is taking a bit of a hit at the Dolphins. So his Origin hopes are done for at least round 1, and game 1. And yeah, well, I guess we'll get the prognosis and a proper diagnosis early next week, and we'll assess from there. Not many people are going to be owning him, but yeah, definitely does rule him out for Origin. Sam Stone Street, physio said textbook syndesmosis. So he looks like he's going to be out for anywhere up to 10 weeks, probably looking more like 6 to 8. The question becomes, who does fill that wing spot for the Sharks? Because it could become hot property. Not as lethal as the left, but definitely still there. You got Nico, you got Britton Nicoto there as well, and Jesse Ramian. So strike enough there. Marine Roddy is out. So it's a case of like, where do they go? I don't have named off the top of my head. Sharks fans in the chat, let us know. But yeah, no, definitely no huge implications there. But Jake Trbojevic, mate, not in a good way. The dark side of rugby league was not pretty doing.
Yeah, no, never good when you see someone copy hit like that. But good to see he was up on the sideline and cheering on the Manly win. So he should. I'm assuming if he is selected in the New South Wales Blues squad, he'll be right to play due to the 11-day stand down. But yeah, we'll stay tuned on that. Dylan Egan's the one that hurts a bit. Not a major buy cover early on in this process through the buys, but yeah, definitely bad luck for a guy that we were all cheering on. I think regardless of Supercoach, it was good news story for a guy who come up and was playing some really good footy. So he looks like he's done an ACL pending scans, and those on-field tests seem pretty accurate. So if they're thinking ACL, there's 95% chance it is, and that's his season over, sadly.
Yeah, the testing is pretty good on that one. A couple of none. Obviously, Clint Gutherson with a shoulder subluxation, very similar to Dylan Lucas by the sounds of it. So probably will play next week, and the load that he's going to have put to that shoulder is not next week, obviously after the bye. The load that gets put through a fullback shoulder is nowhere near what it does on an edge or a prop. So yeah, obviously just risk of re-injury, but it's a little bit lower, mate. And then we get to just the carnage that happened around some pretty key Origin names. Firstly, Murray Talangi ruled out just straight away. He's done. Pat Carrigan looked like he was in the scene of a Saw movie with his jaw just snapped open. There's some footage today getting around on his Instagram of it. I sent it to my better half, who was a nurse, and they were not impressed with what they saw. They said it's going to take a bit of plastic surgery to fix that one up. So in Cobbo out. We've seen that some bolters come through. We'll talk on them soon, but yeah, Selwyn Cobbo looks like to be out with a wrist fracture. And then the big one, Payne Haas with a quad. So, mate, what's going on?
Fucking don't know, man. Honestly, like, where you do all this planning, and I think, Fisher's in the chat here as well. If Robert Toya gets named for Queensland, as is the rumours right now, not official, but yeah, behind a few closed doors, apparently that name's been thrown around. If he gets named for Origin, it just means that planning for the buys is fucking pointless at this point, isn't it? But FC Sports has posted the New South Wales team's apparently been named. We won't pop it up.
Oh, yeah, we won't pop it up, but for audio listeners, apparently, Dylan Edwards, Brian Toto, Stephen Crichton, Latrell Mitchell, Zach Lomax, Mitchell Moses, Nathan Cleary. Nothing out of the ordinary in that backline there. A middle rotation of Mitch Barnett and Payne Haas with Reece Robson at 9, Liam Martin and Angus Crichton on the edges, and Isaiah Yeo. That seems pretty standard to me now that they've, blacklisted Terrell May. Then we're looking like Connor Watson, Spencer Leniu, Hudson Young, and Max King. So, yeah, look, nothing out of the ordinary from what's been mentioned. Shout out to Max King. I feel like I've been on this agenda for 3 years. I did send him a message earlier today and say congratulations. And obviously, we've got Campbell Graham, Stefano Tuikamano, and Hamoli Olakawatu on standby. Obviously, the big one being Stephen Crichton, who we didn't even touch on, mate. A groin for him apparently as well. So you boys just want to be the underdog so bad. You've seen us, every year we always have injuries. We're always battling. Always undermanned as well, Queensland. Always, never fit. And you guys just must have saw that and go, oh, we need to get a bit of main character energy here from New South Wales, I think. But carry on.
Yeah, we needed to because, you guys were hunting for us this year after the last year's series loss. So, it's hard when you've got the crown on your head. Just like I've been trying to come for you for the last fucking 6 weeks and I can't get close. So we'll see. We'll see how that looks for New South Wales. But yes, a lot of injuries, sadly. Let's hope that, the bark is worse than the bite, so to speak, this week. And we do see some of these guys that are at risk of missing, hopefully come good in the next fortnight. That's the beauty of going into camp and missing round 12 is hopefully it gives a few of these guys enough time to get ready for their state. So
we're obviously we're 2 weeks away, but I think it's going to be really interesting with backing up because we've got some teams who notoriously don't have their players back up, who really aren't in positions to rest them. Guys like Pat Carrigan, Payne Haas, Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Yeo, Dylan Edwards, all these guys notoriously just either play reduced minutes or don't play at all. They're not really in a position this year to do so. So I'm very curious to see what coaches' philosophies are. And yeah, it's just if Payne Haas doesn't play Origin, I don't think he plays around 13.
Wouldn't have thought so, no.
Then
I mean, we saw that a couple of times last year, didn't we? With guys that got ruled out for Origin and then ended up playing for their team the same week or something. I remember that happening a couple of times last year. I can't remember exactly who, but I remember thinking, how can you play for your club when you've just ruled yourself out of Origin due to injury? It was really bizarre. But anyway, we're here to wrap up the week. So let's go back and have a look at the week that was. All right. Shout out to Baller as well, baller.live. If you're not checking out Baller during the week, I tell you what, I'll probably live on it now during the week because, as bad as it is sometimes when I see the score pop up before it actually happens on my TV, for the most part, it's incredibly quick. So shout out to the guys at Baller for getting this site up and running. But we'll use their stats and their website. So go and check it out. Knights got flogged by the Eels in this one, mate. 28-6. The Eels ended up winning. When Kalen Ponga is the top scorer, as much as we laugh for your team, you're probably not doing that great considering he hasn't exactly been in the greatest form.
You're disrespecting your pod shout of the week.
I missed my Gagai boy. Yeah. That's fine. 66, 68, same shit. He did have a 67.3 3-round average, Gagai, so he thought, you know what, I'm just going to match it. Good on him. Shout out. But yeah, look, those are the only couple of guys in the 60s there. Aside from that, fuck, there really isn't much good to talk about. Lucas with a 46 went off 4 minutes early due to that shoulder. Fletcher Sharp stunk it up with a 35 and even with a line break assist there. So that's, I think, sadly the risk. Very well purchased this week, Fletcher Sharp, and probably not the week to get on.
I want to highlight future West Tiger Kai Pearce-Paul, 52 and 70, which is really a 60 and 70 if you're taking out the sin bin. So pretty good numbers there from our KPP. And if you need some buy cover, then yeah, you could definitely do worse than picking up him, especially with all the injuries that the Knights have. So I think his minutes are quite secure. But yeah, this is a dog's breakfast looking at this one.
Yeah, poor Fletcher Hunt got absolutely peppered by Mitchell Moses and Lomax down that side, didn't he? I kind of felt sorry for him. You know, it's not often that I watch a game of footy and I go, "Oh, you poor prick." Like,
it was Robert Derby last week, and then it was Fletcher Hunt this week. It's just you're like, fuck. Like most of us have played footy, and most of us have had shockers, and we're just like we've all been there, man. And like, it's same with Daniel Atkinson up against Coates. You're like, fuck, like this is just a bloodbath.
And there's nothing he can do either. Like, to be fair, I don't actually think Hunt was that bad. He just got thrown to the wolves really in this one. So I was actually looking at him as a potential downgrade option for Dewey next week, just as a round 12 number. But I don't even know whether I can afford to do that now. But I am going to need to find some money for Teddy next week if Edwards is the fullback. So we'll see how that pans out. But, mate, the Eels, Zachy Lomax, a few of the guys in the Patreon, shout out to the big balls in there who bought Lomax this week and threw the VC on him. I reckon there was probably 5 or 6 of them that were fucking what's that? Is it when Randy's carrying his testicles around in a wheelbarrow?
Oh, yes.
There's a few of those boys going full Randy. So shout out to those guys. That was a really nice little pod play there. Mitch Moses with an 82, Brown with some more end of game junk to get himself to an 81. Adokar with a 62 without a try. Talk about Josh Adokar. He's been fucking really good and not scoring tries this year for his points, which is interesting.
Yeah. So a try assist on line break, 8 tackle busts, which is massive for Josh Adokar. My little pod at the back end of last year went pretty well for me, so I'm glad to see him kicking on at a new club. But he's on the, I guess what we'd call the weak side as well on that left side. So he's putting up some good numbers. Mitchy Moses 82, not a whole lot. I mean, Jack Williams just looked like 2004 Sonny Bill just for about half of this game. So he was unreal, and then mate just. That's about it, really. Jermaine Hopgood playing less than 50 minutes.
Yeah, shout out to Katoga, who just continues to fly under the radar every week with a 67 in his 80 minutes. He's been pretty good. Lots of
holding my fantasy center together. Katoga.
Absolutely. Me too. 100%. That is game 1. And Sam Rani got 60 in 31 minutes with a try. Good on him. Next one, 24 to 20 for the Bulldogs. Another come behind win from the Bulldogs. It's like they just like. When you race your little brother or sister with like maybe they're 6 or 7 years older than you or younger than you, and you give them a little bit of a head start. I feel like maybe that's what the Bulldogs were doing for the Roosters this weekend, 24 to 20. I think it was like 20 to 8 or something at one point. So, I mean, Connor Tracy, he was pretty popular, well purchased this week. Not exactly the response you're looking for as a buyer this week.
Hey, it's all right. I've been there, guys. You think you've unearthed this pod center wing with a good draw and you buy him for a 20. I've been there with Ronaldo Militalo, so I can feel your pain. But no, I think it's just a blip in the road. Should be good moving forward. Backline pretty good. Look, there's a lot of I don't really understand this. Maybe it's just like owners with a bit of copium, but I got a lot of messages today about Matt Burton and people wondering why he wasn't given a try assist for Bronson Jerry when Burton turned him on the inside and then Jerry ran 50 meters sideways before finding an open slot. So, yeah, I didn't realize Bronson Jerry and Matt Burton were so popular, but Stephen Crichton off the back of his, what was it, like 120 last week, put up a 20 and lost the goal kicking, worth noting as well. So does Matt Burton become, does he come into our considerations?
Now that he's got the goal kicking, I think you have to look at him. It's more, I guess, you've got to look at your 13 and 16 numbers and see whether you can cop that. You don't have too many Bulldogs. You don't have too many Dolphins. I'm assuming you probably don't. But do you reckon maybe he gave up the goal kicking a week before Crichton was going to go to Origin just so that Burton could get some kicks? I mean, they kick enough at training. Surely that's not the case.
No, I think it's just because Burton had the groin or the knee. I think he had like a lower body issue. What was it, 4 or 5 weeks ago? So and Burton was the
MCL.
first choice kicker to come in. Yeah, so a knee. So if he was the first choice kicker to come into the season, it could be a case of like, just let me take the stress off. And then have it back when I feel fully fit. So could be an option there. Max King, Origin hopeful, 67 from him. Big Bill Kickout, 70 with a try, no line break. So we're looking at 53 BP, which is pretty good for kicks, especially with the upside. Bailey Hayward, 72. Well played by him as well. And that's about it. I thought, is it Lehigh Hopboy? I'm not too sure on his first name, but Hopboy, I think he played really well, just from an NRL standpoint when he came on.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, over a point a minute, had plenty of impact up the middle as well. I thought he was quite good. Bailey Hayward was also really good in this one. Kurt Mann, I think there's rumour floating around that he might find a bench spot for Queensland too. And look, I can't argue against it. The bloke is built for Origin, Kurt Mann. So well done to him if he gets through. Roosters, Teddy 70 doing next to fuck all again. The guy just honestly just shits points, doesn't he? He's in everything, touches everything. He had a try assist and a try contribution, and 2 line break assists, but that is because nearly all the attack runs through his hands. Yeah. So I think that's why he's going to be the main target for me next week. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I get him in. I've got Lucas at flex at the moment so that I can trade a 2RF or a centre wing to get Teddy. So I've just got to work out where I'm going to find 200K. That's the next challenge for Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, no, that's totally get it, mate. Let's talk about the elephant. Oh, we'll talk about Mark Nwang'ituwaze to start with. What a try! It went viral. Like it went USA Sports Twitter viral.
It's, look, people say try of the year and all that kind of stuff. Like it's pretty early to call that. I think from what we've seen so far this year, it's fucking real close. And the amount of talent that it takes to hop on one leg in your running motion at full speed, hop on one leg, kick off the other, and then keep the ball in as well. Like, serious amount of talent, that guy.
There will be tries that look visually more impressive, but the fact that you beat one off balance on one foot, regather your balance by hopping on the same foot, kick it, in motion, make sure you dodge the men coming to take you out as well, get back into the field of play, have the nuance and the touch to have the ball sit in the in goal and still get it down as well. There will be tries that are more visually pleasing, but none that took more athleticism or skill than old Nwang'ituwaze.
100%.
And on that,
target.
Hey,
you looking at him next week?
Not a chance.
Too many Roosters.
Yeah, it's just way too many. On that, though, I will say rugby league fans are very fickle because they will sit there and go, oh, how good's Martin Nwang'ituwaze? I can't believe we got him. But in the same breath, vilify Joseph Suaalii. But would welcome him back with open arms if he said next week, hey, I want to come back. So
always
it's just funny. Of course, it's always the way. Shout out Sandon Smith, 65. Not only is a 65 important, but it will make up for the 0 from last week. So I don't think the rolling average will be too bad next week, and then the 0 will drop out. So he could definitely be a hold for another 6-7 weeks moving forward. I'm pretty happy to play him next week and the week after with Blake Brodie on the bye in round 13. Connor Watson, 68 BP. Great from him. Angus Crichton, is it just me or have I noticed he's starting to do this old elbow up bumper into people's throats? Way more now.
I was going to say, like, he's always done it. But yeah, I think I've noticed it much more this year than I have in previous seasons.
I don't think it's ever been this vicious. Like, it's always been like in the chest or like, somewhere in the shoulder. But now it's like, no, I'm going to try and like
throat.
Darren Lockyer you.
Yeah. He definitely did it a lot more in this game than he has in previous. So, yeah, I agree. But 58 in 80 minutes. Look, let's hope that he drops a fair bit of cash through the Origin period. We can pick him up for the run home. He's still a guy I'll be looking at. And we mentioned Naf White going down there at the end of the game on the last tackle of the game, mind you. That's so fucking poor.
Are we concerned with the minutes because Blake Steep is improving week on week. Lindsay Collins back into the side, played 28 minutes this week. You'd expect that to probably pick up as the weeks go on. Are we concerned over Naf White's minutes? Like 44 minutes is not the greatest.
Yeah, potentially. I think, look, would I expect him to play less than 40? No, but I think there's a real chance he plays less than 50. And in saying that, I guess you've also got to look at, how many other players you've got to trade out this week and whether it's even worth trading him out. Because once you You trade out. I've held Nicholson this week because I wanted to use Cleary's cash. So I've still got Nicholson there to trade out. I've got Dylan Egan to trade out. I've got a couple of other guys as well. Like I've got to pick my battles next week. Yeah. So it could be worth just maybe he ends up being the one that I hold just due to the fact that he's not out for a season. So
that's fair. That's fair.
But minutes wise, I would be a little bit concerned, especially coming back from a lower limb injury as well. It's, not going to be easy to come back and be straight back into that 55-minute role either. So, concerned, a little bit concerned. But anyway, Lindsay Collins was good with a try off the bench there as well. But that wraps up this one. Obviously, Roosters' big talking points as of next week. So we'll see who is named and how that all plays out. But I would imagine if you don't have 3 to 4 Roosters, you can probably put a couple of these guys in your watch list for next week. Let's talk Warriors versus Dolphins, mate. 16-12, the Wires get up at Suncorp. Dolphins, a little bit of a comeback there at the back end, but Warriors pretty much had control of this one the whole way through the game. We'll talk Dolphins first. Hammer was solid. Do you think it was because Jamie Chapman was watching him from the sideline that he scored so well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the Kelly Oubre, it's the Austin Reeves. It's all those edits when the quote unquote the baddies show up courtside. And they just turn it on and they turn into Prime MJ. And maybe that was Hammer. Maybe this was Hammer's baddie game. So I played well. On this one, I don't really understand my thinking because I was cheering the Warriors the whole game, thinking I tipped them because I had substantial money on them at the line. Bet one, Wires win. I'm like, sweet, I'm a richer man. How good? Check my tips. Tip the Dolphins. Just forgot. I just don't understand why I did that. So that was great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but my $20 work tipping comp compared to the money that I had on the Boys. Mate, Herbie Farnworth. Cue the Jesse Pinkman. He can't keep getting away with this clip because death, taxes, Braino coming second, and Herbie Farnworth being on a suboptimal score in the 75th minute to end up on 90 plus.
Yeah, go. Love him. I've had him for about maybe 6 weeks, and honestly, it's been a great 6 weeks. And look, and we're not talking about him being on 20 either. He's probably on 50, and then he goes and scores 90. So yeah,
I do like 55, but it's like
you're not buying him for 55. You buy him at 700K. Like you want a 75 from him, I think, every week. So yeah, he scraped through for us in this one with a late try and a line break. So happy days for owners. Isaiah Katoa puts up another decent score, 63. So he's good without being amazing, good without, I think he's one of those, we talked about him maybe being the Stuart McGill of Supercoach, where he's behind Nathan Cleary, he's behind Nico Hines, he's behind Jerome Hughes. You probably buy all 3 of those guys before you buy Katoa, but he's been good regardless.
He's just a younger, more exciting Adam Reynolds when you talk about Supercoach, isn't he? He's like a guy that will put you out mid-60s, but it's like, by the time that you think about buying him, he's already like 580K. You're like, I've missed it now.
Yeah, that's it. And then he just continues to average 73 for the season. And as soon as you buy him, he'll go back to averaging 51. So that's how
shadow of a doubt.
That's how it works. That was the law of averages on Drinky this week for everyone who bought. So you're welcome. Otherwise, mate, not really much else going on for the Finns here. Not really well-owned players anyway. But for the Warriors...
Nothing with the Wires either. I'm going through those scores.
No.
We can talk on Lika Halasima because he played 80, which was unreal for him. 62 BP. Murata Niokore, 60 with a try, played 60 minutes. Like, how I will pull up because you got the ballers on your thing. How much is our boy, old Lika Hallis? So he's 452K. I think this is just let it go through to the keeper. Unfortunately, I think if you had the balls to jump on like 4 weeks ago when he got named to start, then shout out. But I think it's just too much for me now.
No, there's no way, and especially because the Warriors draw is okay. Like it's not terrible, but they do have that round. They missed the round 15 bye. Bit of an awkward placing there. If you're going to buy now, that's probably the reason why I haven't jumped on Aaron Clark. One, because I think he's got that Katoa syndrome where he's too far gone now by the time I'm looking at him. If you jumped on at 380K at the start of the year, you're fucking absolutely cheering. Right. But season keeper, Aaron Clark.
One of the few calls that we got right, but one of the many calls that we didn't jump on. Yeah. He is 670K before this game with a 52 break even. So he was going to go up about 16K. So he'll be let's just call it 680 for accounting purposes.
72 minutes a game. Like, is he going to continue to get 70 minutes a game?
Oh, yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not sure. Like, he's going to go ballistic next week because Mitch Barnett's at Origin. If the Warriors take the plea, then what's his face? James Fisher-Harris, he'll be out for a week, potentially two. You look at a guy like Joe Tarpany today Aaron Clark played unreal and got 71? You look at a guy like Joe Tarpany who was pretty poor. He got 64. So it's like, I understand that Joe Tarpany's 50K more, but I just think I'd probably have more confidence in Tarpany moving forward. Like, he's a guy that I can see myself owning in round 27 and not having concerns over the minutes or the role. But when everyone's fully fit, in saying that, Clark's probably played himself into a good rotation. Like, it's not like he's going to lose minutes massively. And Andrew Webster can probably just rely on those three to play the bulk of the minutes. Yeah. And then just rotate his edges with guys like Capewell, Ford, Halasima, Niokore. I don't know.
Capewell get injured as well in this one, or just not picked for Queensland? I can't remember. I saw a post about Capewell. I can't remember whether it was injury or just not picked.
Well, he played 80. I'm going to say he's not very good, but he has been playing quite well the last sort of month or so. So shout out to him.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, in this one, because I was looking at the Herbie matchup and I'm like, it's like he's running at Capewell. Capewell leads the league in missed tackles this year. I'm like, cool, this is going to be a great matchup. And he actually defended him really well up until right at the end there.
I think that happened a couple of weeks ago. I think it was like Shibasaki up against Capewell, and we were like, let's just straight captain Shibasaki. Like, obviously we'll play him. I think like he held him to like 40 points. And I was like, okay. Surprising.
Very quiet for the most of it, yeah. But otherwise, no one really appealing aside from Aaron Clark. Halasima has been great. And DWZ and RTS are going to take some time to get back into their work, but we might be talking about them a little bit later.
No, we're not. DWZ, you can 180K and I'm not buying him. I can't do it myself.
You bought him, he shit it up, got injured, then you sold him, then you repurchased him again, didn't you? And then he shit it up again. I think I put a post up last year. It was like when he's in my squad, like not even when I play him, but like when he's just in my 25, he averaged like 38, and when he wasn't, he averaged like 90. Yeah.
So I just couldn't pick it.
Let's move on to
he's my Sifa Talakai. Like, you all hate Sifa Talakai because you all didn't jump off at the right time, but I jumped off at the right time, so I've still got fond memories of Sifa, but that's just not me with DWC.
Yeah, no, I get that completely. Sifa ruined me after the 150, and then I bought him, and he did not next to nothing really for the rest of the year. Cowboys got, I won't say trounced, but they definitely got taught a lesson here in this one, 24-6 against Manly at QCB. Manly put up a really good fight in this game, I thought. Let's talk Cowboys first, because there's a big talking point for Manly that I want to make sure we cover. Drink water. You'll be, quiet fist bumps under the desk.
It wasn't quiet.
14.
It wasn't quiet. It was very loud.
Mate, it'd be a tough 3 or 4 weeks for you, so I can understand the celebration this week. 14 points, downgraded 30. He lost half of his points in upgrades as well.
What happened?
Downgrades.
So I didn't look at his score in like heavy detail.
Neither.
I knew he got 27. So he's lost 13. So maybe like a line break assist and a couple of tackle busts or something like that. Like, that's all I can think of. I don't know where he finished on. I didn't pay much attention.
I think there definitely would have been an attacking stat that would have got taken off him somewhere. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I wasn't looking at his score at 27 and going, fuck yeah, and looking through his score really like with a magnifying glass, because I was quite upset about it. But I tell you what, I would have been much more upset if I had the orange armband.
Sorry. I just want to $15? No way. I can't even.
Shout out to Nick.
Yeah, Nick. Shout out. $15, mate. I really appreciate it. Boys, love your content. Mate. Is Kraz a trade out? Thanking Herbie. Also own Coates. Will he back up after Origin? Has the Titans and should make coin. Is he a hold till game 2 of Origin? Current score 13.55. Firstly, great score. Secondly, top bloke. I mean, we were going to talk about this more in detail on Tuesday and Wednesday, but because of the generous super chat, we'll talk about it now quickly. What are your initial thoughts with Kraz? Because he's only really going to miss probably like 2 or 3 games, factoring in buys.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of it is they have a round 13 bye anyway, don't they? So
yes,
worst case, like, I held off because I thought he was going to get picked in Origin, and he goes and gets injured. So kind of same thing, maybe. So I think he's still a top 5 centre wing.
Will miss 13, will miss 16. So I would expect him to come back probably around 17, which sees you miss 3 games.
I think my concern is you're holding a guy for 4 rounds, right? Where at 700 and however much, like, he's pretty expensive now, right? 750, something like that. So you're holding him at that price. That is a lot of money to have on your bench for a month. I guess, it comes down to how many trades you've used up until now. Have you max traded? What do your numbers look like for the major buy rounds? because if they look good, and a lot of people have been talking about the fact they've prepared quite well, they found bye prep a little bit easier this year because there are a lot of players available. Obviously, injuries have changed that this week, but I don't know. If your numbers look okay, he's someone you can hold for sure. But if I could do Carraz up to Teddy next week, that's probably one of the easiest trades I'd make all year.
Yeah, 1,000%. If you don't have Teddy, Carraz to Teddy. If you don't have Herbie, I'd still buy Herbie. Yeah, I'd definitely.
Yeah, I'd buy Herbie as well.
Apart from those, yeah, probably just wait. But yeah, thank you for the donation. Drinky, mate. Yes, definitely was. I was sitting on a ferry. I was coming back from Circular Quay, and I was loving all 80 minutes of this. One, because I also have an agenda against Todd Payton, and big brain play by Todd Payton. We start really poor. We try rookie halfback. It doesn't go well. It happens. I respect giving the kid a chance. Cowboys look shit. Doesn't go well. All right, we'll bring in the experienced Jake Clifford. Oh, we're a really competent team. Like we could play finals football. Like we're good. We just took the 4-time premiers to Golden Point in a game where they probably should have won. I'm going to drop you, and not only drop you, I'm going to move my superstar center who's been playing so well this year out of position to put in Zach Labart, and we suck. Shock horror.
What's 4-2-1 he is this year, and 0-3. Yeah, without Clifford. So whilst I'm not saying it's all Clifford, I think there's definitely the common denominator there that they're better with him than without him. So yeah, it did make sense to me as well. But anyway, we've spoken about Todd Payton on the podcast. I'm sure people know how we feel about Todd Payton, so we won't double down on that.
Tigers legend.
Tigers legend Todd Payton on the field. Yes, absolutely. Big fan. Tommy Dearden, 64, look the goods in this one. But look, aside from that, mate, there really wasn't much else going on. Rob Derby, you know what? I'll probably put my hand up on this one and say he's proved me wrong since I said don't buy him. Even the shocker that he had to score the try at the end shows real character. So, full credit to him. He dropped a million balls, but he ended up scoring quite well in that game with tons of errors. So shout out to Rob Derby and anybody who got on him. He'll probably be a cash out soon, but you've made some good money.
Insert Shaq. I'm sorry.
I wasn't familiar with the game.
I wasn't familiar with your game.
We need to update the sound bites on this show. I might do a bit of work during the week to get some new ones.
One thing I bring. I might not bring much ball knowledge, but I do bring plenty of mid 2010 Vine references and memes. For the Seagulls, mate. What's this talking point? Is it a certain fullback with cooked lower bodies who got a try assist and still didn't get 20 points?
Yeah, that's him. T. Trebojevic. Nice. I'm not even going to call him Turbo this week because there is nothing turbo about Tom Trebojevic, sadly. 18 points in 80 minutes. I was watching this game very closely because I was looking at buying him next week if he wasn't named in Origin. Now I couldn't get further away from buying him next week. Just from what I saw, it just looks like he's not fit. Like you said, try assist, line break assist, 18 points. So just so everybody's aware, a try assist is worth 12. A line break assist is worth 8. So that is 20 points. So aside from the attack, he went -2.
He did get sin binned, didn't he? To be fair to him.
Yeah, he got sin binned. Yep. Yeah.
So it's a -8.
Yep. Six hit ups under 8 meters as well, which is weird for a guy like Turbo in the fullback position to take 6 hit ups under 8. I just don't know what's going on here, but he didn't look good. He had 6 points after 63 minutes in this game.
6 errors. And a sin bin and a penalty conceded.
Yep. I reckon that could go down as one of the worst games he's ever played, to be fair. But it just doesn't look good. His lower limbs look shot. So
a lot of people asking, with no Turbo, should we buy? And he'll score 140 next week. But I still can't. I still can't do it.
Not with what I saw last week. If he just scored 60 this week or something, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'll just take a punt and hope that he goes big as a pod. But nah. Not for me. Lehigh Hopewadi, 89. Strong. Burbo, my boy Burbo, 105. Good on Burbo. Love Burbo. What a guy. 105. He scored a try. And I looked back at the try map. Shout out to Supercoach Guns for doing the try map every week. I looked back at the try map and the Cowboys concede the most tries to left edges in the comp. So that was an anytime try scorer bet that I bottled that I should have looked at. But he was good. Homoli, 64. We didn't see him in the Origin list, did we? So he could be a guy we're talking about next week.
The 22nd man or some shit, like his last name on the extendeds.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Really, really keen. No DCE. So who do we expect? Is it is Jake Arthur even there anymore? I don't even know who their backup 7 would be. I genuinely don't know. I'm so out of touch.
Imagine if they had Jamie Humphries just rolling around there in reserve grade for him.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got no idea. But maybe Hamole. Turbo's still there, which is fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. So definitely still keen. I've been death riding him pretty much every week, him and Katoa. So there will come a time when I need to get both of those in. That's about it. Corey Waddell with 73. Big ups.
Good on him. I'm not buying him, but
just a shout out.
He's been good. Yeah, shout out. Love a shout out. Other than that, mate, not much.
Daz Tavanga. Just from a fantasy standpoint.
Yeah,
because he's been that guy.
Yeah, he has. We're a little bit worried about the rotation there with Tavanga. He was at 13 last week, then at 9, and they've been just kind of using him as a bit of a filler. I think Toff Sipley is back in third, or Josh Aloye might be back next round for them, and then Toff Sipley due back in round 13. So I think that probably mucks up things for him. But fuck, cash in now while you've got him. Ruben Garrick 52. I feel like he did nothing and scored 52, so that was positive for owners. But as a non-owner, you'd also probably be happy seeing a 52 from Garrick in this matchup. So, take your positives and negatives from that. Let's move on. Sharks Storm 31-26. All right, would you call this game of the round? I probably would, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I would say so. Absolutely.
I think when the Sharks knock off a team like the Storm, it maybe shows us that they're a contender this year. I think we take the piss a little bit out of the Sharks and call them chokers, and Nico gets the choker tag a lot. But they showed some nuts in this game and could have easily bottled this one at the back end with the Storm keep coming back at them, but they held strong. And you know what I'm a big fan of? Ronaldo Mulatalo just fucking winding everybody up in the opposition. In people's face. Ryan Pappenhausen somehow got off a charge from a swinging arm on the ground there right at the end of the game. You got
off a sin bin.
Yeah. So they said he would have been sin binned if the game continued, but because the game was at 80 minutes, they couldn't sin bin him because the game was over.
Sin binned?
There was still minutes left. There was seconds left on the clock, so you had to sin bin him. Whereas the clock was run out and the game was over, so they couldn't bin Pappy. So Supercoach is saved of a -8 there at the back end of the game. Also got off, no charge on a swinging arm on the ground into the head. So I thought that was interesting. But
Dogs fans are going to be unbearable this week.
Oh, yeah. Well, you mean more than most weeks.
Of course.
Yeah. Kale Iro, I bought Kale Iro this week. I was tossing up between Iro and Tracy, so I'm pretty happy about the decision I made in the end. But, very good top 5 centre wing this year for sure. Continues to score tries. When's it going to end? I don't know. But hopefully not soon for myself.
No.
You're a Ronnie Mulatalo owner too, mate. You'd be pretty happy with how he's going.
I am. Some weeks no. I love Ronaldo Mulatalo. I generally he is in my notes in my phone. I go through and I've got like a list of like my favorite players, and Ronaldo Mulatalo is definitely there. He embodies everything that I want to be. But I'm 5'6" and wear glasses, so cannot be him. But yeah, look, I love him. He's been going well. It's interesting to watch the way that him and Iro connect, because there are plays where he'll play center and Iro play wing, and vice versa. I just prefer Ronaldo to set the fuck on the wing, because that's where he gets his points. But he's doing well. 1 poor score and like 1 average score and like 3 scores above 75. So he's been well. I've enjoyed the trade in.
Yep, strong. He's been good. Nico Hines 63, solid. Probably what you'd expect from him. A little bit maybe unders, but I'll take 63 against the Storm. I was worried about this matchup personally, so to walk away with a 63, I'm pretty happy with.
Oh, if I told you get 63 with no try assists and no line break assists, you'll snap my hand off.
Yep, 100%. AFB ran through the middle, 103 and 67. Big minutes for him as well, 67 minutes for AFB in this one. So you'd naturally think that maybe we're over the groin issue. There's a little bit less risk there. You'd probably feel a bit better jumping on now. Knowing that the minutes are there.
The minutes I think were a little bit skewed. Sam Stonetree played 21, Jesse Ramian played 14. So I think everyone had to pick up the slack there a little bit. I don't know the last time that Daniel Atkinson's played 66 minutes for the Sharks, and that definitely throws out your rotation. Sifa Talakai played 60 minutes. Like that's out of the ordinary, but I do agree with the fact that I think this groin issue was over, and hopefully it just shows Fitzgibbon that like AFB is your premier forward. You bought him for a reason. 18 hit ups over eight. So 22 hit ups for this game, 3 tackle busts, an offload, our line breaker try, like everywhere. There's a real world where we just have a front row forward in flex, like genuinely.
Yep.
It's
For anybody who plays Dream Team, Sports Deck Dream Team, or you're in the Ultimate Fantasy Championship, I have Keon in flex at the moment. That actually played out quite well for me this week. But yeah, it's a big man's game, isn't it? This year feels like it. You know how you spoke about death, you spoke about taxes, you spoke about me coming second. What was the other one that you said?
Oh, Blake Briley downgrading.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's the one. So I'm going with it. Fucking
Mate,
63 down to 55 every week. It's like, he's only 4% owned in the top 10% of teams. So they're like, it doesn't really matter. Let's just take 10 off him and give it to someone popular. Mate, I swear. I'm going to get my tinfoil hat on and look at this.
Justice for my boy, Blake Briley, because, he's getting cucked every week. Cam McInnes with a 60, and that's really it. Danny Atkinson with 2 tries and a 71.
And shout out to 2023 Sifa Talakai in the centres, because we did have Talakai and Mulatalo on the right side in this game for maybe the final 10 minutes. But how about the fucking flick pass out the back to Atkinson to score?
Did you see Pappy's reaction to Munster? He was like,
props.
Fair play.
Yeah. Nothing we can do about that.
What can we do? In the film section, Bellamy's going to be like,
yeah,
I can't even yell at you. Like, what the fuck do you do?
Nah. And that it makes me think, as a Tigers fan, like Talakai's off contract at the end of next year. Like, we need a fucking centre, man. I don't care where you play him. Play him on an edge, play him at centre. His defensive deficiencies are what kind of let him down a little bit.
Mate, can you imagine him at left? Him and Taruba? Him and
Skelton. Yeah, we'd concede 40, but we'd score 44. It'd be fun. Be good fun. Let's have a chat about Storm, mate. Ryan Pappenhausen got a cheeky little upgrade to 35 there. He was the second or third most. Oh no, he was a bit of a pod captain this week, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was popular. He was popular in like the overall bracket, and not popular in like the top 5 or 10%, which suggests to me like he was very much a casuals captain based off the huge score last week. Whereas a guy like he was more captain than Drinkwater, but Drinkwater was like 48% captain in the top 10%.
Yeah, makes sense. Also, Grant Anderson, the pod that we all missed. We're all big Grant Fandersons on this show. He just continues to deliver. Now, let me ask you this: is there a real world where we see Nick Meaney drop out instead of Grant Anderson?
Maybe. I mean, he's like not imperative with the goal kicking now because Pap's kicking quite well. Maybe.
Honestly, how can you? Grant Anderson's been one of their best outside backs this year. Like, I don't know how you could drop him. I really don't. But yeah, who knows? No coaches. Xavier Coates also playing the wrong sport, I think.
No, mate, hanger, absolute hanger. Shout out to Dan Gorringe, who Dan does footy, massive AFL creator, Carlton Blues fan. He's trying to get him to play for the Blues in the forward line, so don't blame him at all. Money Munster, 101, 3 try assists, 1 try contribution, 1 line break assist, whole lot of BP, which is good for him. I feel like every time I've wanted a 5'8", I've looked at Munster, I'm like, he's playing Origin, I'll just leave it. But now he's playing very, very well. Hughes, just didn't score well. Grant didn't play 80, and that's really about it. Like Katoa, 61 BP, Trent Liero, 68 BP, and Nelson Nasso Solomona, 56 with a line break assist in 40 minutes.
And Lachlan Camilleri in the chat says Warbrick keeps getting close to 11 days without symptoms, and then on that 9th or 10th day gets his concussion symptoms back, which restarts that process. So it's a good little reminder there that Sewer.
I don't even think he's trying. I don't even think he's with the team at the moment. I think he's just
trying to get
being
that
with himself. So I think Sewer will have a little bit of time in the team, but I'm not really keen on him as an option.
I'll tell you what, Jerome Hughes has really been disappointing apart from last week for me. Like I went early on him about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and he's clearly playing injured. So, that's the concern in itself. I bought him the week that he did that shoulder. It's a tough one, but I think I'm just going to hold from here. Let's move on to today's games. Dragons and the Broncos. Dragons edge out the Broncos. Madge Maguire pretty much guaranteed to have another big spray in the locker room. I wonder if Elijah Taylor is going to have anything to say this week about Madge Maguire after the peppering that he gave him last week. Holy shit.
Oh, but he is not a Madge. He did one earlier. He did one in like round 2. Someone asked him a question on like, advice for young players. And advice to coaches, and he's like, "Oh, you got one good spray in you. I used to play with this coach. He used to give a spray every week."
Yeah.
And yeah, it was obviously a badge. And now he just ripped into him this week, so he's not a fan. Do you think Buzz put up a tweet today? He's like, "What's next for the Broncos? Another army camp or another cruise with a motivational talk?" What if you do the army camp on a boat with a motivational speaker? Do you reckon that would fix it?
It has to, doesn't it? Like, or maybe you just treat them like normal human beings and you just see how that works. Like,
Maybe
I don't know.
the fuck out of them.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, we don't have the resident Bronco on the show tonight to let us know what the solve to the problem is. And no, Sarge Beer asking if it's true Matrix just got escorted out of the Caxton. No, he's probably been at the Caxton for about 3 days straight based on
we haven't heard
his
from him.
weekend
We haven't heard
sounds
from him in like 3 days.
Yeah, no, he's had a good weekend on Fraser Island, but he's home and tells me that he's feeling the weekend. That's what he's doing. Shibasaki 90, he's back again.
Do we buy?
Yeah, let's have that conversation Tuesday. Ezra Mam, huge, 125,
Massive.
3 try assists, 1 try, 2 line breaks, 2 line break assists. Look, props to the performance. 125 is massive, and I mean, regardless of whether he had his quarterback glove on for the first try assist, the rest of them was solid.
That was
5 meters
Lamar
forward.
Jackson impression. Jesus Christ.
But no, he was good. Yeah, they definitely look like a better team with him in it. Adam Reynolds,
1,000. I mean, yeah, 1,000%. Like, I'm really keen on him, not as an option, but just to watch him play when Reece Walsh comes back. Obviously, Walsh, he's struggled a little bit this season, but Mam, in a very, very highly publicized return, 1 try, 3 try assists, 2 line breaks, 2 line break assists, 2 offloads, 7 tackle busts as well. And they just look like a better team with him there. They've clearly missed him. Me personally, I can separate the footballer from the person. Don't agree with what has happened. Don't agree with the suspension, but he's playing. And I think you just got to take it as it is. And 125 from him on his return is great. Adam Reynolds with a 69 as well. Man, I want to talk about Payne Haas because they were dominating for the first 30 minutes. Him and Pat Carrigan just rolling through. Madge takes him off. That's fine. I'm not going to criticize Madge for giving his middle forwards a rest. But then just watches the Dragons just fucking steamroll them through the middle and then waits till about 50 minutes into the second half to bring Payne Haas back on.
Good coaching.
Yeah.
Straight from the Todd Payton coaching playbook.
Normally in my captain's post on a Thursday every week, I put up my 3 top options. This week it was Terrell Davis May, and TDM, COD specialist. And I buckled last minute. I pussied out, and I was worried about the rain in Sydney, and I changed to Payne Haas. And at the 77th and a half minute, when Payne Haas was on 56, I was feeling pretty low. I was not happy. And then I just saw Adam Reynolds scoot across, turn Payne Haas under, watch him just burst through 2 tackles, get a line break, nearly score a try, and then rack up about 6 tackle busts in a run where he goes 20 meters backwards. And he gets 28 points in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at his score and he was on the 56 or something. I'm like, fuck, this could be amazing because I captained May this week.
Yeah.
And then I checked the score at the end and I'm like, you're going to be kidding me. Yeah. Like I looked at it, I'm like, you must have scored a try or something or a line break or whatever it was. And I'm like, oh, there's the line break, but no try.
Yeah.
Anyway,
mate, you can thank your mate Clint Gutherson.
Oh, good. My mate
he did a
Gutho.
fantastic job. Not only did he fuck you by scoring a Motza this week, but he also, he saved about another 20 points from Payne Haas.
What a guy. Just keeps delivering. Old Gutho, my favourite player. Xavier Willison with a 43 and 48 minutes. I think that's probably, what we can expect from him moving forward around that, anywhere between maybe 30 to 50 minutes. And I think that'll change week on week. It looks like Madge doesn't still have a set rotation for what his edges are going to do on that side. Like we saw it with Goz, we've seen it with Willison, we've seen it with Piakura, who only played 49 tonight. Some in the middle, some on an edge. Like there's no consistency there.
If only there was like an edge out there, like a representative level edge that really wanted to play on the left side of the field, who also has ties to Brisbane, who was a 1 of 1 and could be the greatest edge we've ever seen. And if only he was like being shopped around by his club. Could you think of anyone? No. Kai Pearce-Paul?
No, he's going to the Tigers. What about?
I can't think of anyone.
Yeah. Let's talk Dragons, mate. Not available in round 12, but we've talked about Dylan Egan. He'll be, it looks like ACL, not confirmed yet, but almost confirmed. Gutho goes big with the 110 after everyone sells him with a big FU. So shout out to Gutho. Val Holmes, 77 before Origin.
I reckon Gutho to Drinkwater was a very popular trade amongst the punters out there.
Absolutely, yeah. I think. What did I do with Gutho? Who did I trade him to? I think I might have traded him via Flex to get Fletcher.
You have
Sharp.
3 halfbacks now, so.
Nah, well, I traded Cleary.
No, you had 3 halfbacks.
I had 3 halfbacks, but I think this was even before I had 3 halfbacks. It might have been before Nico Hines. I think I did Gutho to Fletcher Sharp about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. So that played out okay. Otherwise, the rest of there's really nothing going on. And this is the perfect example to not overreact to game 1 of a rookie in King Tonga. Another 22. He got 30 last week, 22 this week. He's got 1. Well, his cash gen's going to dry up now. He's going to have that 30 and 22 in his rolling average. So, yeah, he's going to stall pretty quickly unless he scores big again. And that's with a try assist. So he's done that 2 weeks in a row now where he's gone sub 40 with a try assist. Yeah, probably not a guy you'd be looking at moving forward as a cash free up. I'd be looking elsewhere for sure. Hamish Stewart, though, 60 minutes for 66. I thought front row forward 4 was just going to be Hamish Stewart was just going to sit there as a plotter. He'd be 320K at the end of the season, but that'd be okay because I didn't need him to score. Look at him go. Now he's going to get the jewel too.
I'm looking at him for like round 15, being like, come on, just give me something. So no, he's been good. Obviously the couple of injuries have seen him open up a role, and Fleno is blooding some of these young guys. So yeah, definitely keen. Like Clemmer's not playing big minutes, Laurie's not playing big minutes either. And Pacifica Tonga as well, like not playing massive minutes. So there's going to be minutes there for Stewart. When you get a try assist and a line break assist, that's a 20-point play. So he still finished up on 46 points, which is unreal. And we'll take that one to the bank.
Yep, absolutely. Let's move on to the Raiders Titans 40-24. I thought the Titans stayed in this one longer than I expected them to. Raiders ran away with it there for probably about that 50-minute mark. I think they kind of left them behind. But I can't remember who it was in the chat said something about fullback 1 Kyo West.
Yeah, I was going to give a shout out to Rowan or Oteo Rowan. They're playing on Oteo Roa from NZ. So shout out to Oteo Rowan on X. Played a lot of fantasy football with Rowan. He has weeks. He has weeks in his team, so he's loving life.
Yeah, that's elite. Very well played, sir. 108, 2 try assists, 1 try contribution, 2 line breaks, 2 line break assists, 9 tackle breaks. He had a game, didn't he, Kyo Weeks? So good on him. Tamale was a good hold for 77. If you're going to hold him, you needed to keep him this week for this matchup. Timoko 91, Savage a hat trick and 122. Seb Chris 55 with a try assist. Like those backs just feasted, didn't they? And they do every week. This is a matchup that you have to target regardless of who it is. I'm going to look at the first thing I do. I think I put a tweet up maybe a couple of weeks ago. The first thing I do when lockout opens on a Monday is look at who the Titans are playing that week. Because honestly, that'll guide my trades most of the time.
I want to give a shout out to someone who's not watching the show and who has no idea who we are. But that really drunk guy from the Campbelltown Leagues Club who went for a piss and gave us his phone in round 1 and showed us that he had Xavier Savage in his team. So I hope that guy's still got him.
Let's hope he just went typical casual super coach and hasn't made any trades up until now and forgot about the app. Let's just hope because surely you'll trade.
If you were not watching, Braino and I were at the sports bar at the Campbelltown Leagues Club after the Tigers Knights game, and we're talking about Supercoach, and this random guy comes up who was probably 45 beers deep and just gives me his phone and says, "Look at this," and then goes for a piss. Just leaves me with his phone. He's never met me before, and then like we're just going through. It's got all the casual picks, like it's like all the like Alex Johnsons of the world, like Xavier Savages, all these guys, and he comes out and he just like starts teeing off about like how good Xavier Savage is, and he had a feeling, and he was many schooners deep, and he was loving life.
Maybe that's the key to being good at Super Coaches, just be many schooners deep all the time. Because look, Savage.
Matrix's rank.
Good. Yeah. Well, Matrix has beaten me. I can't really talk that much. Actually, I think I've officially overtaken Matrix. So I'm officially in second in rank and second this week again for like the 6th week in a row. So
also, I want to give myself a congratulations. This is the first week they played Tamale and he's done something. So this is a great day.
He's no DWZ, that's for sure. Joey Taps with 51 minutes for a 64. I think, anybody who bought him this week, shout out to Aman, I think, who bought him, you probably want more minutes, right? You probably want 55 to 60 minutes, but look, you'll take it. 64 is fine. Tommy Starling, good. Hudson Young, great. 100.
Rugby League Realm also captained Joey Tarpany this week. So.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. I think Aman did as well. I think Aman also captained Tarpany. Did
he? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, 64 is not terrible, but it's no Terrell May. So yeah, T May did the job this week. Hosking, most purchased player this week, 73 and 69 minutes. Rotated into the middle for a couple of minutes as well before he went off, didn't he? So one try, a couple of try contributions as well. He was in everything as we were hoping he would be. The numbers tell us that he's a solid play when he's playing on the edge and playing more than 60 minutes. So for anybody who followed on, he was in our buys for the buy, hold, sell this week. So hopefully you jumped on with us. Aside from that, mate, Raiders, genuine contenders this year, you reckon?
I think anyone is. I generally think anyone. Like the Tigers beat the Sharks, who beat the Storm, who beat, you can do the cycle. Yeah, like you can literally do the cycle. So I think anyone is. I've got more faith in like Ethan Strange and Jamal Fogarty than like someone like a Sexton Burton combination. Like if we have to pick, I think Melbourne are still my favourites, but yeah, definitely. Like I think it's such an open competition this year. Can we please give a massive shout out to Mr. M. Smithies?
Yeah, what was the BP in this game?
80 BP in 64 minutes. And it came with 2 offloads and a tackle bust. And that was it. I think hell's frozen over because Morgan Smithies has thrown an offload. But 44 tackles, 0 misses, 15 hit-ups, 80 BP.
That's huge. Good on him. I mean, we've always called him a plotter. So it's nice for him to kind of buck that trend a little bit. Good on Morgan Smithies. AJ Brimson back to fullback. How good did he look? It's just his position, isn't it? Like, I really hope that Des keeps him there.
I can't believe that an Origin level fullback is doing well playing fullback.
I know. Is this going to continue though? Because we know what Des is like, right? Des, God knows, next week could just play Ducks and Drakes again and have him back in the 6, Foreign back in the 14. That was the original plan in the preseason, wasn't it? To have Foreign in the 14 off the bench.
What do you mean? No, this bench rotation's on fire. Jalen de Groot played 7 minutes. Khalees Haas didn't play a minute at all, and Josiah Palahu played 25 minutes. So you've 75% of your bench has played 25 minutes. Oh, sorry. 75% of your bench has played 32 minutes.
It's bizarre.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
Look, when you've got big minute, big motor guys like Mo Fodawaker and Regan Campbell-Gillard, there's no point playing your bench, is there? Randall and Firma were good as well. So did we see Firma get named for Queensland yet? Or was that in the rumours?
Queensland name their side tomorrow, always. But
yeah,
I would be shocked if Firma's not playing, especially with
100%. Yeah, good shout. Jaden Campbell with a 69, Mofo with an 83, Fafita with an 88 with a double. Aside from that, Titans will be relevant come round 13 because they'll play the next, 5 games in a row there.
Mate, so, Titans are always relevant. Every week they're relevant. They're relevant
just who they're playing.
Yeah, to work at home captaining.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's move to the last game, mate, and we'll get through it as quick as possible because fuck, this was painful as a Tigers supporter. Rabbitohs 22, Tigers 12. Appy Coruscant, I put up the tweet. Appy Coruscant is just the Lamborghini parked in the Housing Commission house. Really, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's fucking painful.
Mate, how has he not been named for Origin? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I understand the Robson pick because obviously defensively, he's probably a better defender. Well, he is a better defender than Appy is, but we need a bit of attacking flair as well from hooker. It can't just be a pass to the halfback situation.
Because Watson's also a very attacking minded hook. Like, wouldn't you just go hey, Appy, give me 40 minutes of fucking hell, and then you can come off.
Play him off the bench. It'd be perfect. He's a perfect bench role for 30 minutes in Origin, I reckon. Especially when all the middles are tired and the ruck starts to speed up a little bit. He could just go out and absolutely cause a stir. Anyway, that's fine. It's good for the Tigers that he's available and he doesn't have to worry about that shit. So, as a Tigers fan, I'm not upset about it. I'll tell you what I am upset about. Lockie Galvin spilling his lollies over the line to lose us the game. That's what I'm very upset about.
Yeah. Wasn't a great game for Lockie. Talk in the media of Tigers meeting tomorrow morning to discuss him releasing. Sin bin and a drop ball over the line. Not a great game for Lockie. Look, I'm not going to say he lost us the game because, well, we named Charlie Staines. And,
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but look, it is what it is. Remy with a 69. A bit of love for him in the WhatsApp. About 2 weeks ago, people were asking whether he's an option, and I can't say no. Would you get 59 BP from fullback, which is really, really good. Yep. Really involved. Lots of tackle busts. Loves the Tedesco run. Loves the sidewards bump off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we love our little John Bateman. John Bateman sideways hit up. That's what we're here for in Supercoach and fantasy. But I think he's around 13 purchase if you're looking at him based on the schedule. So Terrell May versus Keon Koloamatangi was literally like David. I wouldn't say David and Goliath. It was like Goliath and Goliath.
113 base power for Terrell May, 106 base power for Keon Koloamatangi, combined for 219 BP.
That's
fucking
just
insane.
Nuts. That is nuts. 80 minutes for Terrell May as well. And I'm happy to say that I called this last. As soon as I saw the teams, I'm like, there's no way this bench says that Terrell May is playing anything less than 75 minutes in this game. And he obviously wanted to prove a point. 68 tackles and 0 misses. I can see why Laurie Daly would have been really concerned with his defence. So it makes complete sense why he wasn't picked for New South Wales.
Look, okay. I love Max King. Max King, one of my favourite players. Just stand-up guy. I'm so happy he's playing Origin. If you hate Terrell May, that's cool. All right, you don't like him. What does Keon have to do? Not only does he give you edge cover, probably to the same standard as someone like a Hudson Young, but he just done what he did in the middle. He did it last year at lock. He did it this year at prop. I don't. Look, you guys should win Origin, right? I think that's pretty fair to say. You guys should win. And everyone will be like, Laurie's a genius. But like, what are we doing, man? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. And look, I think it is an old...
What's Stefano done over Keon Koloamatangi?
I think it's a very old boys kind of mentality. Joey Johns, Brad Fittler, Laurie Daly, like all of these guys involved. And we saw Brad Fittler come out on the show. I can't remember which footy show it was recently, but flaming Terrell May saying, "Oh, you're just sitting there playing a game and you go and say that." And I understand, to be fair, like it was a dumb comment. Go and throw your Blues jersey in the bin that I just bought you. Like that's a stupid comment, really. But like in saying that though, I understand why he's pissed off.
I was gonna say, is he not like? I think he's the most justified to have a crash out.
100%, absolutely.
What more does he have
one
to
of the
do?
top props. He's been competing with the best prop over the last 5 years in nearly every stat this year. Haas has been better, but fuck, I tell you what, May's been close.
People say Payne Haas is the best prop of all time. I also hold that opinion. And Terrell May has gone stride for stride with supposedly the greatest. Whoa. Okay, this is huge. Apparently, coming from Kez G, news came out that no horse in the 17th for Queensland. That's a bigger omission than fucking Terrell May, in my opinion. I will slander Billy Slater after this episode.
I'm glad I kept him and didn't just trade him ahead thinking that he was going to get picked. What is going on with these selections?
Trent Liero in the Queensland. See?
Oh, man.
What are we doing?
What is going on? Look, we'll wait until tomorrow. We'll see what happens. We might need to have an emergency fucking State of Origin crash out podcast because some of these selections could be very baffling. Look, otherwise, not much to talk about at the Tigers. You're not purchasing any Tigers aside from May. I saw a couple of people in the chat say, hey, what should we buy Coruscant now? Worry about that when they're actually playing in round 13. You can have that conversation then. Again, it's fairly up and down, though, so I probably would be looking elsewhere. Hooker sucks. Rabbitohs, mate. Latrell Mitchell with a 37. He looked good, but just didn't get the points.
37 I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was going to say, I actually am surprised looking. This is the first time I've looked at these scores for this game because I refused to look. But I would have said, if you asked me before I looked at this, I would have said Troll got 75.
Yeah, just because he won the game in the red zone, but not the attacking red zone.
Yeah, that's right. Defensively, he was amazing.
Apart from when Coruscant was running at him in the open field. Someone
That's
going to
true.
check his ankles.
Yeah. Someone, I think the ankles are still out, like at the 20-meter line at Campbelltown Stadium.
He
So
got
someone might want to get them.
he got Tamika Upton.
He did. Hopefully, he hasn't done a glute as well off the back of it. Keon 106, we mentioned him. Ewan Aitken, definitely someone I'll be watching. I'm a big Ewan Aitken fan, especially now that he's back on an edge. 88 in a full 80 minutes with a try. Always finds the line, Ewan Aitken. So he's a guy I'll be looking at.
I'm very concerned about the BP in this game. This reeks of a Rabbitohs Dolphins round 1 BP game where we all
doesn't it?
Like, yeah, like Jai Arrow with a 50 BP in 47 minutes, Ewan Aitken with a 71 BP in 80 minutes. Very, very high scores. Even like Safe Arthur got like 61. Yep. And Alex Twile 64 and 52. Like, this was a very, very big base game.
To be fair, when you watch the game, it was a grindy game, right? It wasn't a free-flowing, attacking football. It was a kick. It was a 4 tackles, kick type scenario for honestly a good 50 minutes of this game, I think. So I can understand why. But yeah, there definitely is a false sense of security there in the BP from this game. So
how much confidence do you have in buying Keon for round 13?
I'd say not as much as I'd like, but I think from what Wayne Bennett's seen in the last 2 games from Keon.
Oh no, I'm not worried about Wayne Bennett. I'm now worried about Laurie Daly if they lose.
When New South Wales lose game 1. Yeah. Look, I mean, he's always in contention. It's the same thing with Hamoli. It's the same thing with all these guys on the fringe, right? Like you can pick them, and this happens every year. A few guys come into the team late, injuries happen. We can't control that. I think Keon and Hamoli are probably the 2 guys to come in next as forwards. So yeah, I am concerned.
And just lastly, we really looked bad in attack. I'll tell you, like a player that would like really help us. If we had someone like a Jaden Sullivan on our books, he'd go well for the Tigers.
Would he though?
I don't know.
No, he would.
It's funny. It's just funny to watch people that we're paying wages for kill us.
It happens every year, doesn't it? Oh well, is what it is. That is the 8 games.
As per the water boys, oh boy, we suck again.
Yeah, it's sad. But you know what? It's all right because I usually don't come into too many Tigers games with expectations, and I started to get expectations, and that's a dangerous place to be when you're a Tigers supporter. So it's good. Now my expectations are gone again. I can just enjoy the football. But it should be interesting. I'm interested to see what kind of scores we wake up to. We haven't seen any updates coming through. I've been checking. So no updates for those final 3 games today.
14:30 with a screenshot is the biggest that I've seen.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what we wake up to in the morning. Matrix, yeah.
Shout out Matrix in the chat.
Yep. We're giving him a night off because he's had a big weekend. So Matty will be back I'm assuming, on Tuesday. But guys, that will do us for the wrap up. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you wake up to some green arrows and some head-to-head wins. I'll tell you what, hang on, before we go. Matrix comes and says, hey, I'm on like fucking 1,100 or whatever score he got. And he won every fucking league. I won 0 leagues this week with a 12-13.
Oh, really? I won 10 from 12.
Sorry, let me check.
30 points more than you.
Loss. Oh, no, sorry, I won 1. I beat Sangster in Podmasters. That's the only win I've had all week in like 7 head-to-heads. I don't understand. I'm cursed this year.
I have a draw. I have a draw with Finny Fuiaki. Good name, but spelt with a P-H-I-N, like Finn. Mm-hmm. Fuiaki. That's a good name. Shout out to Damien in the SC Whisperers $100 comp. So I'm 9 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw with a 12.44, and you are one win with multiple losses with 30 points less than me.
Wild, absolutely wild. I'm cursed this year in head-to-head. I'm going okay in draft though. I had Gutho, I had Terrell May this week, so hopefully that plays out.
I sent for anyone out there. I saw that Reece Robson was available on the waivers, so I sent Appy Coruscant to the waivers and picked up Reece Robson.
Rough. That sucks. It's just one of those weeks, wasn't it? Guys, that'll do us. We'll wrap this one up. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe and like if you haven't yet, if you like the content. We'll be back on Tuesday. We've decided to keep the Q&A public because, it just makes it much more fun then. So you can just keep seeing them all year. But we'll be back for the Q&A, the Patreon Q&A Tuesday night. That'll come public on about maybe 9:30, 10 p.m. Otherwise, if you want to get your questions answered, you can become a Patreon subscriber. The link is in the description below to get exclusive access to the live of that show. And then we'll be back for Wednesday night on the weekly preview for round 12, the first major buy. So there's lots to talk about. If you want to get access to our content, links below. We will catch you on Tuesday. See you then.